I haven't thought of a name for the new podcast, but I'm gonna invite you guys every so often if you guys are down. But we have a interesting topic, and Reggie, I know you've already done some coverage on it. Joey, I saw you did a video on it as well. But we're talking about the PlayStation 5 Pro.
That's right. I did not do a video on it though, Chris. So you're a liar.
Who's getting it? Anybody excited?
Nope, not one bit. Absolutely not. I was not excited. This somehow it's that Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle meme. I expected nothing, and I'm still let down. That's exactly what that showcase was.
I remember that. Yeah, I know. I remember. You liked my idea of Vita 2 with Steam support or something.
That's
or
so much better.
Yeah. That would have been so nice. But no, we got a PS5 Pro, which Reggie, how much was it?
They want a total of $700 for it.
$699.
Yeah, $699. Not nice. The one time that price is not nice.
No disk drive. That's the worst part.
Oh yes. So it really costs you. If you want to crunch the numbers, Reggie, go ahead. Crunch the numbers for me.
I mean, it's like, if you want the disk drive, which I feel like the majority of my generation wants at least, it's going to cost you $80 for that, or $79.99, and those are already being scalped up as we speak. So
we'll get into that part in a second because I wanted to talk about that for lulz.
Yeah.
But yeah, $699 for the system, $79.99 for the drive. Though you're already looking at what, $780 before taxes,
plus a stand.
The stand. I'm green.
Oh, the stand. Yeah, I know. Ugh.
You see, this is what happens. This is what the PS5 Pro does to me. It makes me so green and angry, and now I'm just in a black void of anger because this thing is just a waste of our time, our money, and everything Sony's just doing with this. It infuriates me. But please, continue while I fix my camera.
Joey just hulked out on us right now. But so we're looking at $780 plus tax. And then the stand, you said, but I don't even really use the stand.
Okay.
Me either.
I laid mine down.
Okay.
I know some people have the stand, but the only thing nice about it is it's thinner from the photos.
It is, isn't it? It's a little weird, too, especially because the PS5 Slim is a thing, which I keep forgetting about.
Is it?
It is a thing. The PS5 do have new slim models with, and I think you need the disc drive for that too. Like it's only all digital until you get the disc drive. But yeah, it's just I'm thinking about all this PS5 Pro nonsense. I already don't like mid-generation refreshes, but the mid-gen refreshes we got the last generation, they kind of made sense. The PS4 Pro,
the last two generations were great. From the fat PS3 to the PS3 Slim, that was a nice change. There was no real changes other than size.
Mm-hmm.
I did like that. The 360, obviously, you went from the white brick that had the red light of death over to the Elite, and there was
also a Slim, I guess. I don't know if that's what it was called.
Elite. That's an Elite. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And not too many changes there, but
God damn it. This whole topic is just making me so mad. I'm just probably gonna have to go into full-on profile picture mode for the rest of this. Let's just do it.
How many times does that happen during your when you're trying to record a video?
Not often. It's really only through Discord, but I think it happens when I leave my camera on for way too long because it's easy to forget to turn it off after recording. But it's more of a cam link issue, I've noticed. But before we talk too much about how awful my cam link is, like the PS5 Pro, like when I say like a mid-generation refresh, I'm talking about something that doesn't just change the form factor of a system. I'm talking about they also go in and beef up the specs just a little bit for some reason, and that seems to only have recently happened. The first console I can think of that generally did that was the new Nintendo 3DS. Maybe even the DSi did that, but it was mainly restricted to like handhelds, giving us like slight power boosts. But then the PS4 Pro came in, the Xbox One X came in, but I felt like those came in at appropriate times because 4K TVs were now starting to like become much bigger than they were. Some would even say like when those original PS4 and Xbox Ones came out, it was disappointing that they didn't have 4K support already. But what's the point of this PS5 Pro? What's the point? Do we really want do we really need to see like greater pixel density in the leaves that are 20 miles away in game? Do we care?
I need to be able to see it. And I won't know it's there, but I'll still want to be able to see it.
Christ.
What is it? It's like 40%. It's 40% bigger chip, but at the same time, it's supposed to improve the pixelation, improve some things, improve ray tracing, but it doesn't even look that impressive. It's like you saw the presentation and you could barely see that. And there's certain games that like Ratchet and Clank look faster and cleaner because that's one game they focused on. But then everything else, it was just like quick shots of. It's like, oh, here's Final Fantasy Rebirth. Here's this and this game, and you don't really get to see what any difference is. It was just certain games that they tried it on.
Yeah, they were just showing games that we've already played a couple of years ago, and they're saying like pretty much saying like this is how they should have been played in the first place. Now you can like replay them again. And a lot of people have kind of moved on. What I was hoping for was something new and fresh to make you, hey, I got to grab me a PS5 Pro. You know, that now I want to get this system. There's this game. Look at this new game we have coming out with the system, or maybe even a month after the system comes out or something like that. But I see why they waited so long to announce the system. It just wasn't ready, you know what I mean, for anything new. And it's unfortunate, you know, like seeing them showing games we've already played. AAA titles, people tend to move on after they play a AAA title's been out for a while. They want something else, you know what I mean? There's a lot of choices, usually, but a lot of people have played these games, and there's nothing really impressive about seeing like reflections on the car of your character. If you're walking by a car, oh, there's your reflection or something like that. That stuff is cool. But what people want are games, and they want something. They want new. I mean, I can't even say it's good that they brought out the PS4. I keep saying PS4. Sorry, PS5 Pro like this because, honestly, you know, I'm all for more power within the system, more longevity. You know, for the system, I'm all for that. Yeah, but it's like, man, there's just nothing that really makes me want to like. I already have a PS5. I don't need the Pro, especially when they're adding this price point. You got to add on the disc drive, and if you want the stand up, which my PlayStation is standing up, you got to pay more for that. So it's going to cost you like $800 for all if you want all of that. And you know, it's just showing you a bad business practice. Like when the PS5 was first announced, you guys remember when they showed the digital system side by side with the physical? Yeah. I knew from that point they were trying to push the digital system, you know, and they were seeing what they could get away with pretty much. By Microsoft going towards Game Pass, you know, because Microsoft is all about Game Pass and they make more money on that than really having a system, they're kind of falling off from doing a console. I think they're doing one more. Sony sees that, and now they don't have that competition. They could do what they want, and no one's there to like kind of like hold them to the fire or whatever like that. There's no other system that's really like challenging them. You know what I mean? Xbox challenged them, and they kept them on their toes. That's why, you know, both of those companies were so great at the times, you know, but now it's just like, I don't even know what to say. You know, Sony's going to be doing some even crazier stuff probably, especially if they get away with doing this PS5 Pro like they are. You know, it's insane.
I almost want to know like what's going to happen when the Switch 2 gets announced, which I'm telling you, Nintendo can do the funniest thing this month and just announce that damn thing. And I know they're probably PlayStation and Switch wouldn't necessarily be like direct competitors, but at the same time they still are, because it's just like there's going to be those people who have to choose which console they want, and it's just like there ain't no way the Switch 2 is going to be like $700. No way in hell.
Right.
It's not. I bet you it's not even going to be $500. That thing's going to be like $450 at most.
I can see it. Or,
yeah. And I think people are going to favor that system more because, like, not only is it going to be, like, it's a portable system for one. It's going to be portable. We know that. We should know that for a fact by now. But also, it's going to have actual exclusives. Let's remember, PlayStation's putting their games on PC now. So there's even less of a reason to get a PS5 Pro, because I have my PC right here. It's got an RTX 3070. It's powerful enough to run most PlayStation games that are coming out on it. Why would I get a Pro? It doesn't make any sense.
You can spend that same amount of money for a mid-range PC.
Yep.
With Steam and everything, and you're kind of easier off because at the time things are cheaper on Steam one way or another when the games come out eventually. It's like, okay, and the online is always going to be better on PC anyway.
100%. It's free, I believe, right? It's free on PC, right?
It's free, but I think there are some PlayStation games that are requiring PS Plus. I could be wrong, but I think so.
Okay, so
I could be wrong.
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, this console generation, as I hate to say this, has probably been the least exciting console generation out of all.
Yep.
There was nothing really like making people want to go out and buy these new systems right away. There was no title. Oh my God, I have to get the system for this game. So, and we're already pretty much in the mid life cycle of these systems, right?
Reggie, Spider-Man 2.
I'm a little bit indifferent about the Spider-Man games. I love, I love the Sucker Punch is who created the Spider-Man game? Insomniac, thank you. I was about to say the wrong person. Those games are impressive. I'm not gonna lie, they're great, and my nephew actually reviewed a couple of them. He liked them, except Miles Morales. But they're just games that you're gonna play through. Like, I don't think they have repeat playthroughs for those type of games. So I think people will get tired of them pretty fast. I could be totally wrong. I mean, it's the great experience of an exciting game like that. It'll probably stick with someone forever, which is great, right? I mean, that company does a great job. But I feel like that game is just not something that people are gonna play like for long periods of time. You could probably play through it twice and then you're ready to move on. You know what I'm saying? So impressive game. Would it make me want to get a PS5? I feel like that game could have been on the PS4 Pro, but that's just my opinion. But I understand what you're saying, but it's just like now the more money they put in, they have to put a lot of money into these AAA titles now. These games are like expensive like movies now and everything. So the development takes longer. And that's why we're seeing less and less exclusives like that, so it's pretty insane. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of have prided myself on like more indie type games, more games that are like, I don't know, just games that are complete. They don't need a whole bunch of patches or whatever like that. They have not high budgets, but they're heartfelt or whatever like that. A lot of these games are rushed out. You remember Cyberpunk? How rushed out that game was? That game needed at least another year, maybe 2 years to cook for it to be what it was now, like what it is now. Like, it's an amazing game now. It should have got Game of the Year, but unfortunately, being forced out and not ready, it has that stigma. What was that?
It's always going to have that stink on it.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Reggie, but we come from a generation where games weren't that long. That's why they have so much replay value. There are some, and this doesn't count to Nintendo. Nintendo stuff has great stuff even now that has plenty of replay. But for Sony and Microsoft games or a lot of PC games, they don't have that. Indie games is completely different, but old Super Nintendo games, a lot of them weren't super long. That's why they have such great replay. But nowadays, what games have good replay that are AAA? Demon Soul games, the FromSoft games, pretty much, software games. Those have quite a bit of replay. But what else? Because everything else is, like you said, cinematic. They take forever to play. There's not a lot of speedrunners on a lot of those new games. It's usually all the old stuff. But, of course, there's indie titles, too. Those do have a lot of replay. Like, I still play Hollow Knight pretty often, and a few others. So that's why I do like that, and that's where I kind of lean a little bit more to PC. And for the price you're going to pay for the PS4 Pro, just get a mid-range PC, and like I said, Steam, that's the better option compared to, am I going to buy a PS5 Pro now? No.
I mean, like when it comes to the fact that when you're playing AAA titles and stuff like that, you could pay probably less money and get a PC that does just the same job or even better what the PS5 would do, and it would be a lot cheaper. You could keep building on that over the years, I guess, and that would be like cheaper than buying a PS5 Pro now.
Still get what was it, Microsoft's Game Pass Ultimate and enjoy some of those games too.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, man. It's scary, but at the same time, I've kind of I thought about this for a long time. I knew the PS5 was going to probably be the last hurrah for me when it comes to console systems, because when the PS6 is coming out, which it is going to be a thing, I don't even think it's going to be physical anymore. And at this time, there's still, when it comes to physical games, because you guys are, I would assume you're physical collectors, right? You like the physical media,
Yeah,
or whatever. Games need so many crazy patches that are part of the game is not even on the disc, you know what I mean? And, download codes that make the game incomplete. They don't want to make complete versions of the game, even a couple years down the road. The physical media, I hate to say it, but it's not made like it used to be. You're not getting a complete product, you know what I'm saying? And here's another thing, too. When it comes to, digital stuff, what I was kind of, scared of, they could pull that stuff from your account, and another thing is that game called Concord. Even though the game was offline, guess what happened? People had it on their account. Oh, hey, somebody got to mess it up. We pulled this game from your hard drive. So, yeah, thanks for trying to play it. Here's your money back.
Yeah, people who reviewed the game, people who reviewed it from they got copies from Sony. Mm-hmm. They got their copies pulled today as of recording this.
Yeah, it's insane. So it's like, man, I love my physical media, man, but it's just not made like it used to be, and they have too much control over what you have. I mean, they're always monitoring us. People don't realize this. When you're playing a game, the trophies you try to achieve, playtime, all that is documented with these guys. So they, of course, are pandering to the new generation because they weren't really taught, about a physical product like this. Your hard-earned money, you buy this, it's yours. They've been kind of what's the word I want to use for them? Just not taught that, the value of having. Yeah, they're all about, I can play this game on my phone. I can play this game here, digital, download it. I don't have to go to the store. They've been kind of coddled in a way. So, it's just man, they don't care.
And that's been getting that since the PS3 360 era, where it's hey, now we can do DLC. Hey, now we can do loot boxes.
Yeah.
Oh, move it over to digital. They've just been slowly rolling it out.
100%.
Now, before we were no, how dare you? Now it's a norm. That's the scary part.
Yeah, that's the scariest part, man. And going back to the PS5, man, a Pro, it's just scary to see it really here, man. They're really doing this. They really thought about this for a while, years, how they're going to announce this system, and they were okay announcing it like it was. They were able to. They didn't care. They risked it, and and we're seeing the backlash from it, obviously. But are people going to fall in the line? I feel like a lot of maybe it's just the scalpers or whatever like that, because you do have to buy the drive separately to add to it if you want the PS5 Pro.
Something else you get into too. Yeah, you mentioned, the drives it's selling out, not the system, but the drive. So the scalpers are just okay, well, if you want to drive,
it's going to cost you.
Spend $800. They're you can buy the system. We don't care. You want that drive? Well, we've got this.
This is such Apple pricing. I just found out to buy wheels for your Mac Pro, wheels that you put on the Mac Pro's tower, those things, you will never guess how much they cost. Guess how much they cost. Just humor me.
Are they selling them together or separately?
The wheels, they're selling them together. Oh my God. My fucking Camlink. Jesus Christ.
You're not green, at least.
I'm not green, thank God. Just
I'm going to guess $150.
No. Not even close.
Apple, dude.
They are $800 for wheels.
Wow.
I'll give PlayStation. I'll give PlayStation this.
Or take it to a mechanic and they'll add it to me for free. Make sure the airs are all tight. If all that, all that stuff that I get on my car for $800.
Oh my God! It's so yeah. At least I'll give PlayStation some credit. At least the vertical stand is only $30, but it should be free with the system. But
I feel I should get in a realignment with that.
Yeah, it's
alignment. Not realignment, just an alignment for my computer.
Yeah. Absolutely nuts, but there is just a growing problem in this industry for many reasons, and one of them is just like the focus on power. When Mark Cerny in that video said like developers are asking for more power, I'm just sitting there like, really? Are they, Mark? You sure about that? Because like I don't think they want to have to keep developing like these games for multiple consoles. It's already a pain in the ass developing for the Series X and Series S, which is why Black Myth Wukong and other games did not release day and date on Xbox with the PS5 and PC versions. And it's just this industry's obsession with power, with graphical fidelity, with realism. And if you don't believe me, developers like Cory Barlog and the head of Xbox, not the head of Xbox, but the chief executive Matt Booty said like these games, they're just taking longer to make. Gamers have to understand that. And it's just like, do we, or do you just have to scale back your ideas, scale back on the graphics? Because I don't care if I can't see all the pores in my character's face. I don't care. What was that?
I agree.
Yeah.
You don't need all that.
We don't need all that. Exactly. With the reflections, Reggie, like you were saying, I don't need all that. Like, I just played this amazing freaking game called Astrobot. It's a gorgeous game in its own right, but it's not like, it's not a Red Dead. It's not a Last of Us. It's just a simple platformer with some shiny graphics. That's about it. And you know how long that game took to make? Like 3 years. Which is like short in comparison to all the other games, AAA games, I should say, that are taking this long. And you know what it is? It's just fun. It's pure fun. The game has like a 94, 95 on Metacritic. People love this game. And it didn't have like the most ultra realistic graphics. It was just a fun game.
Yeah, that's all you need. That's why indie games are great, because they don't take as long. They don't have as big of a budget, but they're fun. I don't care. I don't need a game that, like you said, has like the most amazing graphics. I'm cool with 2D games. I still love 2D games.
Yep.
Or 2.5D games. Those can be beautiful as hell too. We just don't need all that. But no, like you said, all they care about is how good we can make this game look. They don't care about story all the time. Look at Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah.
I don't know if either of you played that game.
Not yet. One of these days, maybe.
No rush. It'll probably be $20 in like
exactly. Ubisoft.
I just don't care about all that stuff. I just want a fun game, looks decent, good story, good gameplay, and I can deal with everything else. Hell, I still go back and play PS1 and PS2 games.
Yeah.
SNES games. I know, Reggie, you do the same. We still buy those.
Mm-hmm.
We still go hunting for some of those old games.
We do. And I wanted to bring this up too, man, with the AAA titles. Essentially what they want, they've been trying to sneak this in. Ubisoft kind of said something, and I think Rockstar did too. They want you to subscribe to play their games. Like they want it to be like kind of episodic in a way with the AAA titles. That way they could get away with their practices that they're doing now pretty much, like fixing games later, whatever like that. Like it's like, here's a portion of the game, you can play this, and then we'll have the next episode out later. They want you to be a part of a subscription service because it will make them more money. And oh gosh, it sounds dirty even saying it, man. Like a subscription service to games, like no. But that's what these companies are trying to do, and the one is probably going to lead. Huh? Pardon?
Not even that though. But you can keep going. But it's a subscription service with the entry fee on top of that.
Yeah.
Paying $70 for the game, and then you're adding subscription on top of that, plus any DLC they might add on top of that too.
Exactly, and the strongest company to probably do something like that, could be Rockstar, because you know how crazy people are for GTA, the series, man.
Yeah, they're still making money on the casino.
Yeah, it's insane, and it's like they could do whatever they want, and people will fall in line, and that's what it's weird, man. Like people would actually start that business practice just to play GTA 6 or whatever like that. So I feel like they're going to probably do something similar like that. We'll see what happens. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I know at least for that game, when it comes out, the story will be on the story of the game will be on the disc that you could play or whatever like that. That's all I care about. I'm not going online because I get tore up online when I play GTA. Like I remember this guy kept killing me, and then like when I would respawn, he was waiting for me at the respawn points, and then like geez, dude, like it was insane. So yeah, stay away from online. But Yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. With what they're trying to do with the subscription services and stuff like that for these AAA games. So, yeah.
Oh, what do you think, Joey?
The future is morbid, and I don't like it.
Very.
I feel like the only company we can depend on is Nintendo right now.
Yeah.
Like, I know they're not like they're not like the most squeaky clean company, of course, but it's just like their dedication to physical media is still great. It's still awesome. And like, yeah, there's still like necessary patches you'll still have to get that aren't on the cartridges and whatnot. But still, they're way better about physical media than any other company there is. And their game output is still stellar because guess what? They don't care about realistic graphics that much, save for like Metroid Prime 4, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's a story, right?
Yeah.
Four different studios.
Oh my god!
Nintendo believes in preservation, which is nice.
It's weird that I feel like they do and they don't at the same time, right? Because there's they only care about preservation for like some of their big hits, but they're just like, what's Diddy Kong Racing? Like, get out of here with that. But yeah, they're still way better about preservation than the other companies, and I just hope I hope that the Switch 2, like, if it continues doing what the Switch 1 did, you know, giving us those physical games, giving us the preservation, and keep giving... Nintendo did say, like, game development's gonna, like, take longer as technology progresses, but they're, like, trying to combat it by, like, you know, hiring more developers, getting more studios under their belt, so I think we'll still get major Nintendo exclusives at a much better pace than the other studios, and as a result, I hope the Switch 2 succeeds even more because of that, and consoles like the PS5 Pro fail miserably, please God.
Do we know that it's going to be called the Switch 2? Is it going to be like a Switch type system? Have they announced it?
We don't know exactly, but judging by the wording of from the president of Nintendo, he calls it a successor to the Nintendo Switch, and when the Wii U was out and the Switch was about to be announced, it was never referred to as a successor to the Wii U, implying it was going to be something brand new. So I think it's definitely going to be like a handheld home console hybrid. Like, we don't know the name of it, but we're just calling it Switch 2 because it's easier to say.
It's a win-win with the Switch because it's a hybrid system, which is freaking amazing. I feel like Sony dropped the ball with the Vita. They could have had that kind of like man. But the PS5, do you guys think that it's going to, I mean, obviously you're going to have the fanatics that'll probably buy it up or whatever like that. But like, do you really think, I mean, I watched Digital Foundry. They talked about it a little bit, but they haven't got the system themselves yet. I'm wondering if the system was just kind of just built for them. You know what I mean? The way kind of how they review games and everything like that. Like, I think, not saying they'll be biased on their opinions on the system, but it's like, I don't know, man. Like, because everybody is like noticing like it's not as powerful as it should be. It's slightly more powerful than the Series X, you know. So that's golly. I'm all about. Sorry, I'm rambling here, but I'm just all about the games for a system. I just really, really wish they had something to really showcase it. But at the same time, even if they had something to showcase the system, I wouldn't buy it because I already have a PS5. You know, I'm not going to notice all those differences in the graphics. Yeah, I would care about something like maybe load times and stuff like that. But the PS5 has been pretty good on load times for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, yeah.
I think I want to say like when GTA 6 comes out, that's when the sales that console will go up because you're going to have the diehard, not even just the diehard Sony fans, the diehard GTA fans, of which there are many, that are going to pick up this thing because they want to play GTA 6. I don't know if I said GTA 5 or 6, whatever. GTA 6 is like the best, like they want the best way to play that game day one, and that thing's not coming out on PC. It's going to be exclusively on consoles first. So they're just going to be like, and you know, PlayStation is going to put out advertisements saying the best way to play GTA 6. Know it wouldn't surprise me if this console was made for that game specifically.
Probably, but I don't know. I think the Pro's gonna be even bad, even for some of the diehards.
Yeah,
it's not worth the extra money. And you know, normally when you see like a Pro version come out, like I was looking at when the PS4 to PS4 Pro came out.
It was
The only
needed.
difference was like $100.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
think it was like $100. That the price difference. This is 200, and I guess it's for the bigger chip and all that stuff. But Sony was doing things at a loss just to move the systems. That's how they've always kind of functioned. This is a $200 starting price point, $280 if you want that disk drive, and I don't know if people are going to spend that money. And plus, if you're in Canada, that's about $1,000. It's $1,000
No
Canadian.
way.
Wow.
No way. And to top it all off, like you talk about the price points between the PS4 and the PS4 Pro, the PS4 launched at 400, the regular PS4, and then the price went down 100, and then the PS4 Pro launched at 400.
Okay.
PS5 has never seen a price drop in its 4 years on the market, not one, which
Because
is
it was selling
shocking
well.
to me.
It was
They were selling
good.
pretty well. Yeah.
It's not a Nintendo Switch, but it's Microsoft's on the complete bottom. I read an article saying that they shipped, I forgot what number it was to Japan, and they barely sold like 10% of those.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, Microsoft is their downfall. Unfortunately, I hate to say this, is when they had that E3 conference about the TV.
Yep.
That really hurt them a lot, man. And it's unfortunate because they're a good company, you know what I mean? But people look at that stuff, man, and they'll never forget, and they'll just keep coming at you for it. And I don't think they ever got like the build. They didn't have the fan base they had with the 360 with the Xbox One, and just gradually, just like they kind of. I'm not saying they fell off, but the people just turned on them, and just went with PlayStation.
100% agree. Things like original. They've just had really bad decisions. Sony's having that right now. First one was, oh hey, if you buy a disc, it's locked to that system. If you sell it, then we got to get a cut of that,
Yeah.
and then getting rid of it. Just they've made some terrible decisions, and I thought one of their best decisions was Game Pass, but just the way they've implemented it hasn't been good, and it's just like people will buy an Xbox One S because it's cheaper, just for Game Pass, and now look what they're doing with the Xbox Series X, and they're raising the price. It's just like, oh hey, we're adding more of a storage drive, and hey, we're raising it like $150.
I think that's crazy to me, especially in this economy. Let's address the elephant in the room. The economy's in shambles, Chris. The economy's in. We can't be acting like it's reasonable to be spending money up to $800 for the whole package of a PS5 Pro. That's really ballsy of PlayStation. Just be like, yeah, we're gonna put this thing out and you're gonna buy it. What's a PS3? I don't remember that console and how badly that thing was priced. Just give us your money. Yeah. And don't give me that crap about inflation. Like, actually, the PS3, like, adjusted for inflation, is more than the PS5 Pro now. Shut up. None of that matters. None of that matters now.
Yeah, here's the funny part. Always get about inflation. Yes, we know money. The money back then, blah blah, different things. But the money was still the same back then. Plus, you technically had more because of the economy. Yeah, we were making less, but rent was less. Everything was just cheaper.
Rent was way less in 2006. I was a child, but I know it was less.
Yeah, so I saved up. I worked at what was it, Game Crazy at that time.
Ooh, throwback.
For the PS3 for the 60 gig. I saved up the $600 for the 60 gig. Oh, and I pre-ordered at GameStop like a mile down the road. Because they were the only ones who had it. So it's just like, yeah, you know what? I still worked for that same amount of money, and I was getting paid, what, like $9-10 an hour in 2000, whenever the PS3 came out. Yeah, 2006.
Mm-hmm.
But, it was a lot easier, and I could still pay rent and my car payments and gas. Because I think, gas was like $2-3 at that time.
Yeah, it's nuts. It really is nuts. And it's just like, you can bring up all this inflation talk, but it's just like the minimum wage, the national minimum wage has not gone up since like 2009. So like, don't talk to me about that.
My house back then was easier than it is right now.
100%.
I remember I'm just old, and this just came up into my head. I remember when I was 18. Reggie, I think you're just like a little bit older than me. I was 18 and I had got my first car. Gas was like $1.
Yep.
You remember that, right, Reggie? Those days where
Oh,
you could just
100%, man. I remember too when people were like it was a big uproar when gas finally became like $2. And I'm thinking about it now, like, man, like we were paying like $1. It's like it was just crazy. But yeah, I remember those days, man. It was a great time.
Car, and I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'm paying $1, sure. Oh, maybe $1.15. Okay, but now it's just like, oh, hey, $5 a gallon.
Insane.
But yeah, so that whole inflation thing always makes me laugh. I'm just like, yeah, I can see the difference between 1970, 1980 compared to like, oh, hey, 10 years ago, money was worth this much. It's like, yeah, we were also paying less.
Yeah.
Another thing too, just to go back to the systems real fast, only Sony and Nintendo have really had a gimmick to really make people have to go out and buy their systems. Like with the PS2, it was a DVD drive. Kids could talk to their parents, hey, we go watch DVD movies on this thing too and play games. Boom. That's why it's still number one. Switch is behind it, but that's more of a hybrid system. Then the Wii was another one because it's like, dude, you're playing this system that people don't even play video games. They're playing it. Like I remember my grandparents wanted a Wii. I got on a Wii. They played a Wii bowling and everything like that. So that was insane. That's another gimmick to help sell that system. And then there's the Switch, but none of these other systems really have a gimmick to really make you like want to have that system besides raw power.
PS3 was the first one to introduce Blu-ray in the system.
It did, but nobody noticed the difference at first because the TVs at the time weren't really capable of displaying how Blu-ray could look properly. I remember I bought a movie and it just like, I remember one of my friends could say, what's the difference between this and DVD? I couldn't tell. And I said, I tried to sound all technical, but I was like, I don't really know. I was like,
Here's the crazy part, and Joey, this was something that Adam helped bring up in one of his posts, and it was in one of your posts too. And I looked at it when the Blu-ray player came out in 2006. They started about $1,000. You could buy that on the PS3 for about $500-$600.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was definitely a steal there. So,
and then a few months later, Microsoft brought out or helped push out the HD DVD, and
which looked better, in my opinion. The HD DVD looked better in the beginning. And I was like, man, this actually. I know the difference with that one. But
interesting. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's just hilarious. And then the gimmick of that helped Blu-ray win, even though the 360 was a better system with certain games. It was easier to develop for developers and all that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's true because the PS3 was definitely hard to develop for. People still talk about that to this day, like how Sony systems up until the PS4 were very difficult to develop for. So a lot of companies had a hard time, and that probably messed up like times. Well, a lot of games probably got canceled, but then it kind of like slowed down production time on games. But just going back to the PS5 real fast, I feel like there's just nothing in this generation that makes you have to go out and grab that system right away. There's still the consoles will always be behind PC. So if you're looking for AAA titles, what's holding these systems up are the exclusives. Exclusives seem like they're just slowing down or just like not happening. And then really for Microsoft, the exclusives are like, I can't even think of a game really besides Halo right now and Gears of War that's like, hey, you got to get this Microsoft system. Or I guess Starfield. I think that's what it's called, right?
Starfield and the game is mid. I'm sorry.
yeah. It's just nothing really exclusive that really make you want to jump up and get the system. Now, of course, if you're a comic book fan, Spider-Man, boom, Sony's got you covered. But it's just nothing really like I gotta get. I was good with playing my PS4 Pro for a while. Like
Rebirth is another one.
What was that?
That'll be on PC eventually, though. FF7 Rebirth.
Oh yeah.
But that'll be on PC eventually, like you said earlier.
It has to be because nobody really has a PS5 like they thought, like the install base. So the PS4 has a great install base. If Final Fantasy Rebirth came on that system, yeah, they would have sold a lot more or whatever like that. But they wanted to make exclusive to the PS5 and exclusive deals like they're not like they used to be, guys. Like you're hurting these companies. The companies take up these exclusive deals to be on one system. They're hurting themselves. Like Squaresoft, I was calling Squaresoft their old name. Square Enix. They're freaking like they were trying to blame like they tried to get mad about the sales of the game, which the game is phenomenal. I love Rebirth. They wanted to replay it, I've been busy with other stuff. I want to get back. I beat the game. I want to get back into it. I haven't yet, but the game would have been great if you put it on multiple platforms. You cannot have AAA titles be like stuck to one console unless it's made by the first party developer, or whatever like that, or second party like Guerrilla or something like that.
Yeah, but they do it because they get a lot of money for that. So half the time, their cost is probably about half. Because
they can't complain then.
Sony throwing money at us for the exclusive deal.
Yeah, but then they can't complain they're taking that exclusive money or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't come out and say the game didn't sell well.
It's all about the money.
Money.
Right, but I'm saying they shouldn't have complained afterwards saying it didn't sell as we thought. Well, yeah, you took money up front, so you took that risk. Because like I said, the install base of the PS5 is not as big as the PS4. It's simple as that. The reason why the game sold, the first game, Remake, sold so well is because it was during COVID. Everybody's indoors. Everybody could play games. It's not like that anymore. So you thought you were going to get that money. No, people are out and about doing their thing. And you gotta be safe you gotta play it safe with this, man. Having games exclusive like that, it's just not viable, I think, in this day and age, especially a AAA title. You can't really risk it when you have so many options to get the game out to be played. You know what I mean? Like, the Xbox should have had both Final Fantasy games, but I don't know. I don't want to go too much over it. It's just like,
yeah, I mean, there's 16 Final Fantasy 16 PlayStation exclusive. Well, now it's coming to PC.
Yeah, exactly. So
the thing is, Sony's got to just try to get what they can, because with Microsoft buying everything, they've got to they do some stuff, sadly, and that's the sucky part, because Starfield and a bunch of the Bethesda stuff that's coming out, but now Microsoft realizes, hey, we need money, so we're gonna start multi-platforming certain games.
Exactly.
Or make them a timed exclusive. Like what I think Indiana Jones is a timed exclusive.
Yeah, they just announced that it's coming to PS5 in spring.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like 4 months later, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, but right now Microsoft's just they're buying stuff, they're selling, closing studios, selling studios. That's a horror.
I'm trying so hard. I'm trying so hard to get back on video.
No, you're good, Chris. What they did with that other company, the Hi-Fi Rush, what was the company called?
Tango Gameworks.
I couldn't believe they closed that. What a talented company they are. They made one of my favorite horror games of all time, The Evil Within. And it's like, dude, I felt like they were just getting their stride finally, and then you shut them down. Like, they just brought Hi-Fi Rush, which everybody loves, but I don't even know what to say to that, man.
Luckily they sold it, so the studio still exists to an extent.
Okay.
I think they got some of the workers, but not all.
They got the license to Hi-Fi Rush for sure.
Yep.
Evil Within, hopefully.
I hope so too. Yeah. I played the Evil Within 1. I thought it was good. Didn't think it was that great, but I'm gonna try to finish Evil Within 2 this year.
2 is amazing. 2 is way better than the first one.
Good, because I was like, what do y'all like about the first one so much? This is not that great. But yeah, the Evil Within 2, I played some of it. I didn't play all of it, but I'm like dying to get back into it.
I'll tell you, with the first one, the story was not really developed properly in that game until later in the game, so you had no idea what was going on. It made it really weird. Part 2 really picks up. They got a lot of better actors, a lot of crazy moments in that game, and it feels like more of a hub too, like with the way that the game is set up. But yeah, it's amazing when you get a chance to play it.
I'll play it on my PS5 Pro. Just kidding. Ha ha ha. But yeah, this and just to keep harping on the exclusive part of it, I'm pretty sure we're not going to see Persona 6 exclusive to PlayStation because of all this stuff.
Right now, all the promotion has been done by Microsoft for like the last dozen Ageless games. Metaphor, Persona 5 Tactica, Persona 3, I just can't remember what it's called, but Persona
Golden.
3 Remake. No. 3. It was 3 Remake, but all of those have been promoted by Microsoft first. Like, Microsoft is the first one to announce it and all that stuff. Like, when we saw the announcement for the Persona 3 Remake, that was by Microsoft. Everything has been pretty much... So it's been multi-platform. Obviously, Xbox and PlayStation, but Microsoft has been the one pushing it out the most.
I'm in prison. This sucks.
You're good, bro.
Even SMT5. So all that stuff is that.
Well, Chris, with the PS5 Pro, does it come with a 2 terabyte hard drive?
Yes.
Is that okay? 2 terabyte hard drive, which you definitely will need because these games take up so much room. I guess they thought that was a kind of replacement for the disk drive in a way, you know.
Yeah, I need that, but even then, like,
even then, you need to install the disc anyway. It's just it's just, and that's another thing. That's what else I love about the Switch is like most of the cartridges you don't got to install anything at all. Like there's some third party stuff, yes.
Like it might install just the basic data just so loads are faster, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Not in there.
And when it comes down to it, man, we want control of our games. If we get tired of them, we want to be able to sell them, and that's what's always been another, thing with having physical media. If you decide, whether we like it or not, we buy games. It's an investment, and games go up in value or whatever. So, if you decide to sell those games later in line, you could do that. Later in life, you could do it, not line, but you could do that with digital media. I've always said this, even though people usually don't really come out and say this, but with digital media, you buy that stuff, you're renting it out to play it. They have the right to take it away from you. That's what happened with Concord, pretty much, even though the game is offline.
Remember that whole thing about what was it? Sony was gonna pull. I forgot what it was, but they were gonna pull a whole library.
That movie network.
View or something.
No, it was some nature network or something like that on there.
No, it was I think all the Funimation stuff. I think.
Oh, okay, Funimation.
They pulled all the Funimation stuff, but also they are also doing like a TV, like you said, it was a movie state or something. I don't remember off the top of my head, but they were going to erase everything that people had. Oh, I remember. It was Discovery Channel.
There we go. That's the one I was trying to. Yeah, Discovery Channel was one.
The Discovery stuff that they were pretty much going to pull until like last minute when everybody was complaining. But yeah, problem with digital is you don't own anything anymore, and it's cool to have some of that stuff digitally, but in the end, one day it could be all gone.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because like your system, they like your system to be online so they can see what you're doing, and being able to pull a game off of your hard drive like that while your system is off or whatever like that, or in sleep mode, is insane. Like it shows you what they can really do with a lot of your catalog. They could brick your systems, ever since the PS3 and up. It's like, man, they're watching you or whatever like that. Not trying to say like in a creepy way where they're watching like that, but they could do all these things. Big Brother, yeah, pretty much. And it's like, it's crazy. I like playing sometimes my system offline where no one can see what I'm playing something. You know what I mean? I like that, option. But a lot of these systems are alive now, and they're. I can't get that out of my head, Chris. Like pulling the Concord game off of someone's hard drive. Wow, dude! Like,
but how many games have been pulled this year alone, or even in the last 2 years? We lost Babylon's Fall. That's games. A coaster now. Concord's a coaster. I probably won't be too long until Suicide Squad's just a coaster if you bought a physical copy.
People are upset with that one.
But right now, it's just even physical media. If you have the disc, if a game's live service, Overwatch, all that stuff, just gone.
Chris, do you think it would have been nice if they added some kind of single player mode for these games so they wouldn't become a coffin?
Yeah.
I think that's essential for a multiplayer game.
As long as there's something with like single player, yes. Because let's take a look at an old, not an old game, but an older game, from recent, Tony Hawk. The last one that came out. The only thing that was on the disc.
Was it the remaster of 1 and 2, or is it the one before it that was bad?
I think it was the remaster one. No, I don't remember off the top of my head. It might be the one before. But The only thing that was on the disc, the game wasn't done when they put out the disc. The only thing that was on the disc was the tutorial. Everything else you had to download.
Sus.
So it's just like, okay, hey, they closed the servers. Well, the only thing you can play is the tutorial.
Well, guess I'll die.
I'll just kickflip to death.
Terrible. Absolutely. Yeah.
That is insane. Just a funny story. So I got this survival horror game called what's it called? Daymare, 1994, and the game wanted to install and patch when I installed it to play it, and I was like, I don't feel like waiting for this. I want to play the game right now, so I went ahead and started the game. Guys, this game was so incomplete on the disc. I was just shocked. The intro was different from the patch version, which I'll get to, but like after you go through like the tutorial story mode of the game, the characters were glowing. They were like glowing, like they weren't even fixed. It was insane. The models weren't even fixed. I was like, oh my god, dude! I felt like I should have played the game all the way through like that, just to show people what's happening with like physical media. But I couldn't bear it, and I let the patch come in. Different intro, things were fixed up, but not even the best version of the game is actually on the disc. And that's when I talk about broken physical media these days. Like they rely on us to be beta testers. And then they'll just patch the game as we play it. Like we're buying games that are like a broken mess, and hey, don't worry about it. We'll patch it later. Just buy it now. So we'll do that. It's like this wasn't how it was back in the day. But
you know what I'm thinking real quick? You know who's going to succeed in the end? And right now they're doing fine, but they're probably going to do better. Limited run games. They're probably going to be the only ones in the future that are probably going to publish physical games, and that's even going to be limited how many they do that.
Well, I hope for them that they'll probably get big where they have even stores for limited run games like that, so people don't have to like always order online. I feel like they got their one store in North Carolina, I believe, and I feel like if because they're venturing out, getting other stuff that kind of like will bring people to them. Like I think they have other stuff besides video games, so they're branching out or whatever like that. And obviously they're publishing their own games too. But at the same time, it's like, man, I just feel like they're probably smart enough to kind of know how to stick around in the future. I feel like I have more high hopes for them than GameStop sticking around in a way. You know what I mean? So,
Joey, your kid's playing a PlayStation 7.
Yes.
And the only place he can buy physical media is limited run games.
For that system, huh?
I mean,
if it's even physical.
I'm not even mad about that for some reason, because limited run games, I don't really buy from limited run games too often, but they haven't done me wrong. If that makes sense.
You're like the only ones printing Xbox games really now outside of Xbox. Like first party games, everything else is them.
Yeah, they haven't done me wrong. Of course I don't order the collector's edition stuff from them because I heard nightmare story about that. I just get the regular editions, but as far as that, I've been good so far with them, So, yeah.
Nice.
There's stories for that, but that's probably another time. But yeah, it's just I'm not too hopeful for the next generations away. Oh, minus Nintendo, the way things are going with Microsoft and Sony.
Hey, Chris, I want to ask you this, man. Would there be any way you would probably purchase a PS5 Pro?
No.
No, nothing? Like nowhere convincing?
I'll maybe wait until like closer to the end of the generation to upgrade. But I did upgrade. It took me a while, but I did upgrade eventually from the PS4 to the PS4 Pro. No. But I waited until there was a special edition I wanted. Sorry. And that ended up being the Kingdom Hearts one.
Oh, nice. So I guess it's safe to say that everybody who has a PlayStation 5 disc system, you're not going to trade it for a Pro, or just like
no.
I feel like this is more valuable now.
I was the same way with the PS4 Pro for a while, but then I got a 4K TV. Well, first I actually bought my friend's God of War themed PS4 Pro, so I didn't even give Sony any money for a PS4 Pro. But then I got a 4K TV shortly after, which I was planning to buy anyway, and I was just like, okay, if I realized at that point, if I was getting a 4K TV, I needed to get a PS4 Pro anyway. In that sense, it was a reasonable upgrade, and it also wasn't like so expensive. The system wasn't even that, and that's how I got it like used, so it was even cheaper. But for a PS5 Pro, I don't see the point. I really don't see the point for this. I have a PC already. Sure, I don't have a 4K monitor, but I don't need one. I don't care. I sit right in front of my monitor anyway. And like if if there's a game that has a good performance mode on PS5, like that's good enough for me. I don't care if the performance mode is not at a full 4K. I don't know if I would be able to tell the difference anyway. It's just like if it runs fine and looks fine, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with my system right now. You know, I could tell the difference between the PS4 and the PS4 Pro with a game like Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man. When I got the PS4 Pro, I could tell a big difference the way the game ran, and that was it was faster, it was smoother. But from what I can tell on the PS5, it's all minimal, and unless you have like great vision, then you might be able to tell the difference. But it's just like from what we saw in those videos, I couldn't see anything.
Yeah,
and I bought I bought a 4K TV before I bought my PS4 Pro, but you know, at the same time, I wasn't in any rush until there was games that could really take advantage of it.
Yeah. Right.
And a lot of those games are usually kind of like at the end of a system's life cycle too, unfortunately, where they're able to push what that system could really do. It's like that a lot of the time.
It really is. Yeah, I just think we should stop trying to make games look better, if you know what I mean. Like we don't need to... I don't need The Last of Us Part 4 to be like look exactly like real life and take 20 years to make. No. I don't need that. Just like you just stop at The Last of Us Part 2's graphics. That's fine. Stop at Uncharted 4's graphics. That's fine. And it's just like I care more about style than realism. I know realism has its place in this industry. I don't want to completely knock realistic graphics. It's because, you know, it offers some variety. If every game looked the same, it'd be boring. But it's just like, stop focusing so much on trying to make games look better and start just making good games. Astrobot, I'll keep bringing up Astrobot. I'm working on an Astrobot video as we speak right now because it's just like, it doesn't do anything that groundbreaking because it doesn't have to. I don't care about groundbreaking anymore. Just give me some good games. That's all I care about.
You know what I was excited for this month?
What?
Those Sage demos I sent you.
Those what? Oh, the Sage demos. Yes.
The Sonic, the fan games and everything. They're all... You've heard of that, right? Reggie? I think I sent you the link too.
Sonic the Hedgehog fan games?
Yes, yep. So it's Sage. It's forgot what exactly it stands for. 1 second. Sage 2024. Hold on.
Yeah, some of those games looked quite good, and they were fan games. And the fact that Sega supports them is even better.
And we're talking about 2D or 3D?
Both.
So these are both. So this is called Sonic Amateur Game Expo. These are just fan games. What's it called? You've played Freedom Planet, right, Reggie?
Oh, 100%. Yep. Beat that.
That was originally a fan game. It running off of Sonic.
Yeah.
So a lot of these games are 2D. They might remix a Sonic game. Somebody remade Sonic and the Secret Rings on PC.
Oh wow.
So you don't need the Wiimotes and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm more excited for those than anything like that's been released this month. I think even last month, because these are games that have they took one single developer maybe a year or two, or somebody did Mega Man X8 remake in 16.
Yeah, that looked amazing, dude.
That one. And that the full game's out. I'm playing that, and that thing is awesome. And these are just games that people are making by themselves. They might not look the most beautiful, or the Sonic Rush 3D looks great, but these are games that I'm enjoying, and they know what's fun. They know how to build a fun game. One of the games I have played that are fan made is Sonic XG, which you actually try out. That game was amazing. I beat that on a live stream, and that they knew how to make a Sonic game, which is fantastic. You could tell they're fans of the series. They knew what to make, and that was an amazing experience playing that one. So yeah, I love stuff like this. It feels like we'll just have more fun like with games with projects like this. You know what I mean? Like instead of waiting. Game, yeah. I know a simple game you probably both played that is, I know it's out on the Switch soon. It's been on PC for a while, and it probably took the developers 2 years to make, but with a lower budget. Pizza Tower.
Mhm.
Oh, right. I haven't played that yet, so I need to get on that.
Yeah, Pizza Tower is fantastic. You know, it's a Wario game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is really cool. And just thinking about games like Pizza Tower.
Silly.
Yeah, it's so silly. It's ridiculous. And it's just like, I thought about the recent Summer Game Fest showcase. Jeff Keighley put on screen like the top 10 or top 8, I don't remember, like highest like rated Steam games. And they were like, I think one of them was Among Us, maybe not. I definitely know one of them was Balatro, and another one was Pal World when that was relevant. And it's just like, there all these games like, oh, even Lethal Company, I believe, was one of them too. And all these games were just like, they weren't pushing like hyper realism. They weren't pushing like cinematic experiences. They were just fun games. And it makes me think, I don't know how companies look at these figures and think, let's not do that.
Let's make a AAA live service game, guys.
You know what pisses me off though? Ubisoft took a great risk with Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and that game I don't even think cracked 1 million units sold. Pisses me off.
Yeah, you know.
There's the price with that one, right?
They kind of rushed it because obviously the remake is having so many issues.
Yeah, that's true. But it was so good. It was still such a good game.
It's a great game. I think a lot of people didn't give it a chance.
They didn't because they suck as human beings and shouldn't buy video games.
Well, hopefully Ubisoft will give Beyond Good and Evil 2 a chance finally, because they actually put out Limited Run's putting out the physical for the 20th anniversary for that game. And obviously, like when it comes to a lot of sequels, they want to gain interest in the game again. So they're pushing out that anniversary edition. Hopefully that sells well, and they'll finally finish part 2. If you guys heard of Beyond Good and Evil, right?
Of course, yeah. I've been thinking about getting that remake.
I've been watching that game for years. I mean, I bought it when it first came out, so I've been like watching it for years, and all the hope. And since Michael, I forgot how to pronounce his last name.
Michel Ancel, something like that.
Michel, thank you. He's not even Michael. I'm totally off. But he left the company or whatever. He's not with the company anymore, so it's kind of scary, like thinking of what that situation that game is in. Ubisoft is not giving anybody any updates or anything.
Right, and apparently Michel Ancel was a bad person anyway, so like screw him anyway. But I bet you we're gonna see Half-Life 3 before Beyond Good and Evil 2. Because there's rumors that Valve's working on it, so it's just like, what the hell?
Trying to see when was Beyond Good and Evil 2 originally announced.
2008. Was it?
Oh, okay. So it was 2008, but then they like re-announced it in 2017, and it looks like a completely different game than was announced in 2008.
No, 100% it
does. Why are the animals swearing? Why?
Here we go.
That was a great reveal trailer for it.
Beyond Good and Evil 2 broke the record held by Duke Nukem Forever for the longest develop of a AAA game title.
It's longer now? They beat it.
Amazing. Why? Like, what are you doing? Like, just, oh my god.
Dude, I can't believe it beat it out, dude. Like, that's insane. And Duke Nukem at the time, when the original version never came out, it actually looked pretty decent. I really hope they would release that version of it, but they never did.
They never did. They got Gearbox to, like, just throw it all together, I think. Gearbox tends to get games that are just going to be bad no matter what. Like, they've been carried, but they put out, they were like the last
Alien game.
Yes, exactly. The Alien game. I was going to mention Colonial Marines. They were the last ones to get Colonial Marines before it came out. Goddamn.
It's kind of cool, though, because a lot of those games will probably be lost, so them kind of like mashing them together. I feel like that's kind of cool in a way, even though they can't become great. But
I would have rather they have come out than not.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, man. I really hope that game comes out, man. Give me Beyond Good and Evil 2. Please.
Exactly.
Cliffhanger.
What a time we live in. I mean, it's even worse because some stuff just never gets a sequel.
Yeah, man. It's like that's why I hate for stuff to be left on a cliffhanger. I feel like companies should always end their games on a open end. Like, I mean, maybe there could be a sequel, like in that kind of, or maybe this could be the ending. Kind of like close it out in a way, so it's not, if it doesn't sell as well.
Yeah.
And they can make a sequel. We'll have some kind of closure. You know what I mean?
Right. Because, oh my God. Like, I was just talking about Half-Life right now because I just played the Half-Life games finally. And
Dude, I know what you're feeling.
no, right? But did you play Half-Life, Alex?
Yes.
No, I did not because of the way. I mean, it's a true sequel, right?
It kind of it. Here's the thing. It is a prequel, but all I'll say is there is time travel.
Well, I know I saw the whole thing with the main character in it, so I know about her. So I know, but I was hoping to feel like more like a sequel and everything like that. But
yeah, it's still largely a prequel, but they continue the story where that cliffhanger in episode 2 ended just for 20 seconds.
The guy in the black suit has too much power, dude. Like I'm like, what is this
I
guy?
know, G-Man. What the hell, man? What
Dude, what's going on?
Reggie, you played Valkyrie Profile too, right?
Oh yeah.
It's that pretty much.
Oh. Wow.
Okay. Good to know.
Okay.
Yeah, and now there's credible rumors going around that a new Half-Life game is in the works. We don't know exactly what it is, but it's
Valve's making games.
It's
what?
from I know, right? Well, it's because it comes from data mines. So this is shit directly like from the source, literally the source engine.
Dude, I feel like if Half-Life 3 ever came out, man, it can never live up to what people would want it to be. Never.
I know, and that's why I'm telling people. It's just like, that's why I'm telling people, like, just expect a good game. That's it. Like, I don't know, like, I know 17 years is a long time to wait for a new game, but at the same time, just don't expect any. Like, I've been waiting a long time for Metroid Prime 4, but like, I am not expecting that game to, I don't know, change my life or something. I just want a new Metroid Prime game. That's what I'm expecting. Like, that's it. I'm not expecting like something that'll change the way gaming works or whatever. And I feel like that's what people.
If you want to see, I'm gonna do a plug for you, Joey. If you want to see how much Joey loved Metroid, go look at some of his old videos. Go to Commonwealth Realms. Look up this E3 video of the announcement. That was a hilarious one. And then the earlier one that they did, earlier. This year for
back
GameXplain.
in June. Yeah,
I was trying to remember if it was this year or last year, but this year when they showed some video. Joey just goes nuts. So go look for those videos.
I did want to ask you then, since you're a Metroid guy. I just got Metroid Prime for the Switch. I got lucky and found it at Walmart with a bunch of other games on sale. Like, it was insane, like so random. But I always figure since they announced Metroid Prime 4 that they'll probably release before that Part 2 and 3. You know, do you think that'll happen? It will just make everything like more complete because I want to play. I've never played the Prime series, so now I want to actually play them. That they're on a system like the Switch, which is great. And like, you know, and then when the fourth one comes out, obviously I'll be able to play that. But I'm hoping Nintendo will do something like that.
I really hope so too. Yeah. So here's why I think they will, because right before Pikmin 4 came out, like a month before Pikmin 4 came out, they re-released Pikmin 1 and 2. And 3 was already on the Switch, like for a while at that point. So
look what they did for Bayonetta. They originally gave you Bayonetta 1 and 2. 2 was the digital code. And then, oh, hey, look, Bayonetta 3 is coming. Then they released Bayonetta 2 as a physical.
Yeah. So I
Nintendo knows they're gonna sell it. So
yeah. Pikmin 1 and 2 came out physical as well in one cartridge. So something tells me. Yeah, something tells me they will do the same thing for Prime 2 and 3, which I hope they do. You can't just.
They're gonna release them separately.
You think they'll release them separately? I feel like here's what they're going to do. They're going to release Metroid Prime 2 and 3, and they just won't be as remastered as Prime 1 was. Because that was the rumor for a while, is that Prime 1 was going to be the big boy remaster with all those fancy bells and whistles, but Prime 2 and 3 were going to be more of like HD upscales.
They could have done it so easily. They should have just done the Metroid Prime Trilogy Collection.
They should have, but why would they do that when they can make more money selling them separately?
They're all about that money. They know people will buy it. Just real fast, what do you guys think is the best Prime game out of the 3 that we have so far? Like, which one's the one that really stands out?
It's got to be 1 for me. Like, a lot of people say 2 is better, and in a way... Are you in favor of 2, Chris?
No, I'm in favor of other M.
Shut the fuck up. No, but
Metroid Prime 2 for me.
yeah, so I feel like it's one of those two. For me, it's one. For Chris, it's two, and there are valid reasons for why one is better than two. Two is better than one. I just don't like, because the thing I don't like about two is that now the ammo is limited for the other beams, and there's a dark world in that game that like actually damages you when you're in it. Like you're constantly losing health when you're in it. There's like safe zones, but other than that, you're constantly like receiving damage, and that's just not fun to me. Yes, but these trilogy is masterful. Like three is not the best one, but I still love three. Like
enjoyable.
Yeah, none of these games are bad at all.
Yeah. I think 3 would have been more enjoyable if they got their initial what they wanted that game to be. I think 3 was kind of rushed from what I was told. So.
Oh, really? I actually don't know anything about what they wanted it to be. That's interesting.
It's supposed to be like an open world kind of in a way, from what I remember. But they weren't able to get it out. There's a documentary on it about on YouTube, I believe. Check it out.
Interesting. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, to me, open world is not what Metroid should be. I'm a little bit of a purist that way, because Metroid is always just like Metroidvania, right? None of them is open. None of them are open world. It's all about going through corridors and like backtracking, finding items to break open. Like I wouldn't be opposed if they wanted to try an open world Metroid Prime in the future, but at the same time, it is just kind of like, I don't know how you make that gameplay style work in an open environment.
I don't think more open world. I think this is more open to the areas that you could go to. I can't remember. I wish I could remember what exactly it was, but it wasn't like totally like open world like that. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know what to compare it to. Like maybe something like
the new Tomb Raiders. They got big areas in that game.
Something like Resident Evil or something like that with the open areas.
Well,
like
to be fair, Joey, you can make Metroid open world.
Can you?
Called Out of Bounds.
Out of Bounds. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, good news is Prime 4 is. There have been rumors that Prime 4 is going to have like those larger. It's again not going to be massive open world, but it is going to be like whoever leaked this compared it to like Halo Infinite's big old areas, which that game wasn't exactly open world either. But yeah, we haven't seen too much of that game even still yet. We know a lot more than we did for the past 7 fucking years. God, it took them forever. But yeah, there's reason to believe from the footage that like, yeah, it's still going to be corridor based, but it's the areas might be more vast this time.
I'm fine with, as long as it has that original feel. I'm cool with that.
Yes, and oh my God, the music in that trailer is better than anything in Metroid Dread. Good God, so
I know you did a video recently on Federation Force.
I did. Oh my God, like I've heard for years, people have always told me, hey, look, Federation Force might not be a great Metroid game, but it's a good game in its own right. I hated every second of that game. It was so bad. Like what was that?
It was you and Alan, right?
It was me and Alan for like one level, but even still, if I played that game with if I played that game with 3 other people, I still would have hated it. Like, it was just, the objectives weren't interesting. The levels were not interesting. It was all just, it just felt bland and basic to me. It was just,
Okay, I got to ask you this question. Just because now that you've played Federation Force or Triforce Heroes?
Oh, I've never played Triforce Heroes, but I feel like I'd like Triforce Heroes more, to be honest. Yeah, I mess with 2D Zelda, man. We got a new one coming out soon.
Dude, I can't wait. I'm hoping that one will be good.
I hope so too.
Yep, I like the concept. I like the concept a lot, where it's just like you'll be able to kind of use what's around, and we'll probably find some interesting ways to break the game in ways that they thought of but didn't also think of as well.
Mm-hmm. I thought they were gonna let you play as her Persona, Sheik. I thought that would have been really cool. But
when you said Persona, I just thought you'll never see it coming. I straight up imagined her putting on a mask. Like, no shit.
Well, I'm trying to remember in A Link Between Worlds. What's technically the the timeline of that in Zelda overall.
That's just right after A Link to the I don't know about right after, but it's right after A Link to the Past.
Same world.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where that stands in the timeline. Is that the downfall timeline? I don't remember.
I think it might be the downfall timeline.
Oh, how many timelines are there?
There's okay, so there's like three. There's three separate ones, I think. Like at first it starts off consistently with Skyward Sword, then the Minish Cap, then Ocarina of Time. I don't know if I missed a game in there. But then it splits off between three branches. The one where the hero wins, the one where the hero dies. I don't know what the third one is. I forgot.
Which one does the hero die and start at?
Give me 1 second here. I'm going to look up the timeline.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are not a part of this timeline. It's been confirmed.
I think Wind Waker was after the hero dies.
It is. Yes, you're correct. I got the whole thing right here. Let's see.
And when you say hero, we're talking about Link dies?
Yeah.
Okay.
He loses again.
Okay, here we go. Here is the difference. This is from Zelda Fandom, not Wiki. Four Swords is part of the initial beginning part of it before Ocarina of Time. So there's the hero is defeated, and then it goes to A Link to the Past, and then Link's Awakening, Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages, A Link Between Worlds, then Triforce Heroes, then the first two Zelda games. So here's the thing. There's the hero is defeated, and then there's the hero is triumphant, and that alone branches into two different timelines. The child timeline, where Ganondorf's plot is stopped, and then it goes to Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, and Four Swords Adventures, and then the adult timeline where Ganon is sealed away, where with the Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks. And currently, we don't know where Echoes of Wisdom is taking place.
Can you send me that link in the Discord so I can check it out?
I will do that right
It's interesting. I've always wanted to know because I know that the story got convoluted over the years, and they kind of fixed it with those two Zelda books, I believe, but I never got to read them.
Historia and I forgot the other one was called.
Because my favorite Zelda of all time, well, I mean, it's probably the black sheep of the series as of now, but Zelda 2: The Adventures of Link. I loved that game as a kid.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
And I loved how in the instruction booklet actually had a comic of the storyline of what happened to Link and what happened to the real Zelda. It was just so cool, and I'll never forget that. But that one's my favorite. That one should get a remake. That'd be kind of cool.
I'd be down for that.
Wand of Gamelon.
Oh, of course. Wand of Gamelon, Faces of Evil. All the good stuff, right? But yeah, the time... In general, the timeline doesn't matter. None of it matters in the slightest, right? Like, there's the direct sequels with, Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, Twilight Princess. No, not Twilight Princess, Spirit Tracks. But overall, I don't think Nintendo really cares about it anymore. I mean, the fact that they essentially, made Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom their own timeline says it all. Even though Breath of the Wild has references to Ocarina of Time in it, it's weird. I guess their reasoning for that is, oh yeah, these are legends. They're not real. They straight up tell the story of the Zora story in Ocarina of Time, in wall writings. But I guess their argument is they're just legends. Because, Legend of Zelda, Legend of Link.
It's this crazy thing of a timeline where the hero dies. That's pretty dark. So
that is dark, right? It's crazy. I love it. 10 out of 10. But
I thought it was insane when Link actually had to fight Zelda in Twilight Princess.
That's right. A puppet.
You remember that scene? Yeah, the puppet Zelda. That was crazy. I was like, whoa, what the heck?
That is nuts, right?
What was your favorite, Joey? I'm guessing Twilight?
My favorite one was Twilight, yes. I don't think it's the best one by a long shot, but it's my personal favorite because it was pretty much my first real Zelda experience. I had Oracle of Seasons on Game Boy Color, which I played a lot, but I didn't really fall in love with that game. I was just I'm bored, I'll play this for a while. But Twilight Princess, I was it had its claws in me. So yeah, I'm also
for Zelda 2. Zelda 2 I kind of got bored of real quick. After playing Zelda 1 and everything.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get back until Link to the Past, but I have to say Minish Cap is probably my favorite.
Ooh, I have not played that one all the way
through
yet.
It doesn't overstay its welcome too, which I like. That's when Capcom. That was the last one Capcom made.
Yep.
Minish Cap.
They need to make more Zelda games again.
Oracle and Minish, those were great games. Or they did DX. No, that wasn't that. It was just the Oracle games and that.
Yeah.
Too bad we never got the third one.
The Oracle games are pretty good though, right? Too.
I played them recently. I don't think they hold up too well, to be honest.
Okay.
At least without a rewind feature, which is how I used it, because I'm like, I don't know how anyone could play this without a rewind. I'm sorry. Like this is hard. This is hard as balls.
Well, it's tough, man. We all got like responsibilities, so it's hard. Like when we're playing these games, we invest that time. We need it back, so we can't be struggling like that, you know?
Exactly. I get it. All right, but I think I'm ready to wrap this show up. Chris, what do you think?
That's fine. So, any last thoughts on the PS5 Pro?
Just my opinion. For me, it's a waste of time. I got my PS5 with a physical disc drive. I'm good to go.
Me too. I'm the same way. And if I want like a better looking game, I'll just play it on PC.
There you go. And you know what? You could, if you have a PS5, you could also play your PS4 games. You've got a library to keep you busy for a long time. So you get that upgrade.
That's right. So correct.
Yeah, I'm just super disappointed with Sony on that one. I still prefer to PS Vita 2 with Steam, so Microsoft Game Pass support.
Yeah.
Give me that Sony improved Sony online experience, because PS Plus sucks.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just like buy the Switch 2, everybody, to let these companies know what we really want. I mean, PlayStation took a step with the PlayStation Portal, which is a cloud-only device, but people love it. It works well, apparently.
If you've got good internet from where you're at.
Exactly.
That's the biggest problem. If you could download the games on there, I would have been cool with that.
Right.
Like, what it should have been, in my opinion, here's the PS Plus, tie it into that, download the games, and there you go. As long as you got PS Plus, you can access those games. Right. That would have been a great idea. But no.
Show.
It's a good idea, so Sony didn't want to try it.
Of course. Such is the case.
All right, thank you guys for joining me for this conversation.
You're welcome.
Hopefully we can do this a little bit more often. Maybe have Alan join us. Maybe Joey, next time your camera's not going to hulk you out all the time.
Yeah, really. Now I just need to unplug it for overnight, and that usually fixes it. Cross my fingers.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you guys later, and thank you guys for joining us.
Of course. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.